I have no idea if this is doing a meeting or not. A live stream. Supposed to be live streaming all over the place. Big fat live streaming. Yeah, that's what's supposed to be happening here. We still have like a minute or two before it's time to start. So, and I can't tell. Turning my earpiece up, and so you can't look at YouTube because it's like 10 seconds behind. So I got this on Zoom and I got this on YouTube. I think, I hope you guys are there, and so. And I'm not vamping exactly as in making up time. It's just more like I'm not sure everything's hooked up. So let's see. So we got, this is chord colors. Now listen, this is so important. And I have various things to say to all instruments in just a moment, including sax and bass players and trumpet players and tuba players. Nothing for the ocarina players. I'm sorry, you've been left out, left in the cold. But everybody else. And obviously chording instruments like the guitar and the mandolin and the ukulele and the piano and the zither are all good with the ideas of chords. But you other guys are just as important for you. However, it's in the area of melody and your solos and things like that. So I'm acting all relaxed here. I'm going to give this just a minute. And let's see. There's, okay, I got Zoom in front of me. And, oh, hello, TD Black. And so this is functioning over here. Stream is healthy, says YouTube. Oh my gosh, the stream is functioning. It's healthy. Okay. And, all right. And there can't be anybody on Zoom because it counts the people who's on Zoom. So I hope that this is all connected right, as opposed to being screwed up because it's so goofy. That is, Zoom is so goofy, but I think so. Okay, so all right, now a big part of my gig today is relying upon people asking questions, and then there's at the moment there's nobody here to ask questions. That's okay. So I'm just gonna go for it, but as I should. But for the future, for the people in the future, when you see this, I want you to feel free to ask questions and make comments, and I will respond to the comments. I want those comments to occur, and I want to respond to them because that's what's exciting to me. Is like people who are, including me, it's like when you're confused and you're not sure what to do, and a lot of times people just come and say this little thing, and that small little idea will turn the light on. It's like, oh, this is not hard. I can do this. And so anyway, that's what I like, and I like to do that for other people. So if you see this after the fact, you just feel free and jump in and ask me a question in the comments, and then I will answer that. And so, and again, I'm Mark Black. This is Promethean Studios, Dallas Music Lessons, music seminars, which we have twice a year. And then this is Mark Teaches Music on YouTube, and a video about chords and chord colors. And the chords are, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the idea of chords as colors is a great one, a great picture of them, because they're like different shades, and you're saying, oh, you would not paint a painting or draw a picture if it was colors of all red or all black, and please don't, I know that people do all that, but in general what we like is the mix of colors, and we say, man, I just love this impressionist painting, and it's all blue and green, and these colors, and such a warm tone, or we like this, it's all stark, and and all of that, just by the way, is the same reflection of what chords do in music. So so the first thing that I want to say is about chords is that there's now listen, if you are a monophonic instrument, you can play one note at a time. I have a flute here because it's, I guess saxes are on. Yeah, there we go. All right, there's Ruben. Okay, so apparently this is functioning because Ruben, hi Ruben, hey, hey. So, I'm glad you came.
Joined the wrong link.
I'm glad I'm glad you came because I'm glad you're here because I was wondering if it was functioning, the Zoom part. So
It's actually I think you may have started on the second meeting Zoom link because I was trying the first one and it was saying you were in another meeting.
really, what it says over
Yeah.
here on the Zoom thing, it says this. It's got the name, it's got all the info right. Um,
That's strange. Okay.
so I hope you're right. I mean, I don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
If you know anything about it, just holler. Uh,
I think this was the link. I can share the link in here.
well, the when I was this right here has the link from my private meeting room. You know, the normal
Yeah.
Zoom. The second one for voice uh, has a different one. I don't know why.
Yeah. That was the one I had to join for this one for some reason.
Huh. Okay. Well, this is about chords. So,
Got it.
okay. So, and I'm gonna talk to you, but I'm gonna talk to the masses. Oh, I know, and thank God.
Absolutely.
I'm kidding.
All right. I'll keep myself on mute.
Okay, good. Oh no, you can. But here's Dilip, and Dilip is also a bass player, by the way.
Oh, hey, delete.
He hadn't
Nice to
made
meet
it
you.
yet. He's gonna hide like in the background, and it's usually dark. Yeah, just he's got his camera off. He's just hiding. He's not really there. It's just
Oh,
his
it's
name.
good.
Only his
It's all
name
good.
is
It's all
attending.
good.
Only his name's attending. Okay, so good to see your name, Dilip. Okay, so anyway, about chords. So the chords are like the background, and they're not the background as in importance. They're like my background right behind me. So like with the thing with Zoom and different things, they're like putting in fake background. Oh, I'm behind a waterfall, or I'm in front of a building, or I'm in front of a pasture. And that's the context you're seeing me in. So our melodies are presented in front of a context, which is the chords. And I actually think the chords are the most important thing, the most noticeable thing, may be the way to say it. And it's super important to get them right, although in one sense they're generic in the sense that they're like, maybe the right word would be ubiquitous. They're everywhere, they're constant, and our ears kind of assume things, but then we're very, very influenced by what that says. Hey, Tom in Dallas. Okay. So anyway, and I'm going to come back to, like I said, single note instruments in just a moment. How this seminar talking about chords would affect you. Chords can sound spacey, they can sound bluesy, they can sound rocky and jazzy, and all different kind of sounds. And so the first thing I just want to talk about is this idea that, and how well, y'all don't have to read that whole thing. If you're taking lessons, of course I'll give you a copy of this for anybody. But this, can you read that? Just by the way, I'm not going to get you to read it. I'm going to say what it says, but no, I don't know quite.
Kinda, but my screen's pretty small.
Okay.
And my eyesight's not the best, but
Okay, well, I'm going to say what's on it. So the
yeah.
primary thing, the first thing to say is about this is that there's basically, and this is very important, it's just there's two kind of chords. There's two kinds of chords. One kind of chord is a color chord, a pretty sound or interesting sound or a dark sound, sad sound, an empty sound, but you can sit there. You do not feel a need to move. It's just a sound. Of various types. And the other sound is a motion chord, and you hear that chord and you say, I need to leave this chord. I need to get off of this chord, and it propels me away from itself. And just because, well, I have a whole bunch of instruments here, but I'm going to grab this ukulele since I was threatening to use it, so I'm going to use it. But the point is just that I'm going to go back to this view. I don't know why they went to that view. That's crazy, man. Look at that. That's nuts. I know screen's black. I'm pretending I'm delete. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not right. Yeah, I couldn't get this camera to work earlier. There it is. There it is. Now I'm ready now. Anyway, the point is this sound. So this is just a major chord. Here's a Here's a minor chord. Even this, a minor 9. We hear that sound and we say, hey, that's a sad sound, whatever. And we're content. Here's a 6 chord. So those are color chords, or colors, feelings. No, again, painting the background. And then this, a dominant 7 or 7 chord, is like you hear that and you want to move. And just by the way, you want to move to, that's where you want to move. Here's tension. I gotta go a motion chord, not emotion, just motion, a motion chord, and then it resolves. And then here's another diminished chord. Here's another one.
The sound from the instrument's not coming through on my end. The voice is, but...
Okay, good. Thank you for telling me. How about now?
Yeah.
You come in now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just do that again. Major chord, major 7 chord, 6 chord, minor chord, minor 9 chord, and all colors, different emotions. You know, unusual sounds. Still, we think of that like, I can sit here and listen to this, but then the motion chord, and there's the dominant 7, it's like tension, and it wants to resolve, it wants to go someplace, it wants to move, it's not resolved, and this particular chord wants to go here, and you can hear it say, yes, I got there. And then the last thing was just showing another kind of motion chord. Here's another one. You know, even more tension. You hear that, you go. So like you hear that, I'm just saying, if you heard that sound, you would go something like, what am I trying to do? And there we go. Yeah. So we had this lot of tension, and we can go a lot of tension, and we can go a lot of resolution. So for example, this is fine, hold. This is a little more, you know, this is gentler. So we have variations within those kinds of chords. And but there's only 2 kinds of chords, and so when we're listening to chords and talking about our songs that we love, we have to decide. I want you to learn those chords. I don't want you to just go like, yeah, man, that was really tense. Yeah, that was really sad. That's really aggressive. You know, it's like, well, how did it become aggressive? What was aggressive about it? You know, what was the mechanism that made it aggressive? And so we're not just, you know, complacently patting our tummies and saying, yeah, that was a pretty aggressive sound, or that was a really beautiful. We need to identify what the chords were, and how this guy, this artist, this jazz artist, this blues guy, this country guy, how did he make it better and better within the context? He didn't just, everybody's not just playing major chords. So, now from those 2 kinds of chords, we would have pretty much, we could say we have, I do not understand why does that picture say that? But from those 2 chords, we pretty much have 4 kinds of chords. We could look at them as families of chords, and we need to. There's dozens of chord types, not expressions, but types of chords, and so we need some way to organize them, and this is a good way to organize them. That is, again, continuing with the idea of color chords that are whole and happy, and that would be major chords. These chords are happy and complete, and the guy is just, he can sound in love, he can sound like he's just out doing his stuff, he can be having happy, just normal. This is nothing, just a normal day. I'm going to skip over the motion chord for just a second and go to the sad chords, minor chords, and then that's you could say those are dark, and then look at here's the names for them. But a minor chord, a minor 7 chord, a minor 2 chord, a minor 9, a minor 6, a minor 11, a minor with a sharp 7, which the jazz band's playing a song called Nika's Dream, and it's got minor 7s with sharp. sevens in them, and I'm just saying it's not just things people are making up. I'm gonna grab this guitar, I guess, and so we can hear. I think I'm using the electric guitar today because I think we can hear it better. Come here. So anyway, so like here would be, let's say, a G chord. You hear that just feels full. I love you so. Or you say, today I bought a truck. It's the best non-truck that I have. And if we change those chords, just by one note we're changing them to make a minor, they suddenly sound sad. Today I lost my truck. I should have paid the payments. It sounds sad. And I'm saying it's a quantifiable sound. It's not just, it's like we write it on a paper, G, B flat, D, and we play G flat, D, and it's not that we did it correctly or incorrectly, although that is a factor. But what's more important than that is that, hey, that sounds sad now. My sad song is sadder, or it's now sad. My song is now sadder. So not that we need to, but going down that list, here's a minor, and here's the minor 7, and here's a minor 6. I mean a 9. There's other ways to play all these chords. Here's this is this is a minor 9 with the 2 stuck, with the 9 stuck up here. And I have a camera. It's strange, very strange. I find this very strange, but for some reason this camera is here you can see that. But it doesn't matter. The playing of it doesn't matter. This is not a guitar seminar. This is a chord seminar. But I'm just saying this is so what we're doing. Let's talk about what we're doing. Here's the minor, and to make a 7, we're adding. And this is an important thing to everyone to note, is that when we make a 7, a 7, a 9, 11, a 2, 16, whatever we're doing, it's just the number of notes up above whatever the root of our chord is, not the key we're in, the root of our chord. So if we're saying a C9, that means we've got the 9th note of the C scale, which is always, if the number, now this is not confusing, you may not be confused legally, in the state of Texas you cannot be confused. If the number is above 9, it has a 7 in it, the chord has a 7 in it, and then also you can just take 7 from that number to see what note it is. So a 9 is the 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. So C9 means it has, you're adding the 2nd note of the scale, and it also means that you've added a 7. 7 and 2 is 9. So C9, 7 and 2 is 9. C13 is, 13 minus 7 is 6. So the 7 and the 6, it's a C chord with a 7 and a 6. Da, 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 da. So it's like, it is math, but my main point is it's just logical. So when we see the 2, we see that. So that for example, that, and this is all written not in this document, but in this one. This one right here, which up here talks about these things we're talking about, like that if it has a 7, if it just says a 7, then it is a lowered 7 that we're adding. And if it has so minor 7, dominant 7 is the lowered 7, means a whole step down from the root. And then if it says MA7 or MAJ7, and some jazz charts will do a triangle, a delta, means a major 7, and then that is the unchanged 7, which is a half step from the root. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the point there is just the numbers. If I say 1, 3, 5, I mean the first note from the root, the 3rd note letter name from the root, and then the 5th letter name from the root. And I don't know yet if it's a sharp or a flat. I don't know that yet. But I do know that the 3rd of a C chord is an E. I do know that the 3rd of a B chord is a D, because that's B, C, D. It's 3 letters. I don't know if it's a D or D flat or a D sharp, but it's a D. And so I'm very encouraged by that. That I don't have to know it that well. So so back to this, and what I wanted to get on this sheet was the idea that, and then we have these, come to this middle thing, these motion chords that move. Now, in most songs in the world, and really all songs in the world, we can play all of our music with just 3 kinds of chords. And that is major chords, minor chords, and 7 chords. And the 7 chords, and I'm saying, and if you're, besides Dilip and Ruben listening, anybody else listening, I see these other people listening down here, but I'm just saying, the future generations, my kids, my grandkids are listening. No, but when people are listening, this is that should be encouraging to you. It's like, hey, I don't have to know how to play a C minor or C13 with a sharp 11. I could just play. You really can just play C7. Will it be as ultimately just butt kicking cool as the guy who did it? No, but it'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty good because we get the families, and here's their family: our happy family, major chords and their children, minor chords, sad sounds and their children, and dominant 7 chords and their children. Now, as a guitar player, guitar players, this is a sound right now. I'm not talking about, don't be, again, I know I don't have any, Tom's down there, but more or less don't have any guitar players. I don't care how I'm playing this. There's many ways to play this chord. I'm not talking about the fingers, I'm talking about the sound. And just for example, we need to know those chord types. And what I'm saying is be able to hear them, and it helps to quantify them in some way, or to qualify them in some way. Say, hey, this is a happy. I don't care what you say. You could say it's a complete sound. Ta-da. You could say it's a happy sound. You could say it's just a normal sound, and you could say this is sad. You could say this is dark. These are words, but you need a characterization of it. And here's the 7 chord. Because, for example, you can't really play a blues without dominant 7 chords. I don't mean you're incorrect. The blues police are going to come get you. I mean, if I go, hear me, I'm playing the blues, Stormy Monday, with, let me get to somewhere I got, where's my normal picture? There it is. And so I'm saying playing Stormy Monday with no 7 chords. Stormy Monday. Tuesday just as bad. Sounds very happy. He's happy. Doesn't really care. Call me Stormy Monday. Tuesday's just as bad. And then Wednesday's always worse. Friday's worse. Sunday's also sad. So, as an example, blues, this is only an example. The example is, in the many kinds of music, we're going to get quickly past where we can just play any kind of chord, to where we have to play some of the chords in that style. And so for example, to play a blues, now here it is just with 7s. I'm just turning everything I had a G, a C, and a D, and now I'm just making them 7s. Call me, and hear that tension? Call me Monday, Tuesday just as bad. Call me Stormy Monday, but Tuesday just as bad. I'm doing so you can see this. Some Saturday's worse. One of the days. All the days of the week that end in a Y are worse. So the dominant 7, for example, to get that blues sound and tension is required. Now, remember I said that if the chord just has the letter 7 in it, 7, just 7, not major 7 or MAJ7, it just says 7, then that 7 is a whole step down for the root. So I just want everyone to see, it doesn't matter the instrument. Here's the root. So I'm adding this note a whole step down, or 2 frets down. I'm adding a note 2 frets down to my G chord. I got a G, B, and a D, 1, 3, 5, and I'm adding a note that is 2 half steps down from the root. I could do it here. In other words, you can mathematically or easily figure out, because it's logical, what you're adding. It's just that on an instrument like this, not on the piano, you could do that on the piano, but on this kind of instrument, okay, if I added it here, it's like, well, I can't play that. I can't reach that. So we have to figure out, where can I play this that I can reach it? And just by the way, in this particular shape, I can reach it here, and I can reach it here. And of course, because I put that 7 now up higher, Now it's a little gnarlier. Here we kind of feel it because it's in the body, down in the notes, and here it's up closer to the top. And just by the way, in discussing tension, all these, most musicians are going to spend their life, including me, are going to spend their life trying to, my kids, one of my kids, I think my youngest daughter's like maximizers. Some people are something, I don't know what, so you go to a restaurant, you're just happy with what you get. Other people are maximizers. So I'm a maximizer. Most musicians are maximizers. So they'll go like, okay, they'll go like play the 7, but then after a while they're going like, okay, let me try this. Let me play that. Okay, let me, they're adding all kind of notes and trying to make it even meaner. So instead of this one, they're adding, they're adding the sharp, and that's the augmented sharp 9, and of course it sounds pretty cool. But back to this continuum. So on this picture here, and then I'm telling everybody, and I'm pretending there's 100 people here, on this continuum, I'm saying that you need to take all your chords and you need to either look at them and put them in these boxes. This is all these pink colors. I don't know why I picked pink, but major, whole, happy, those kind of chords, which for now we'll just do major chords. Minor chords, sad sounds, this is sad, and then dominant 7, which is just the 7, just a 7 chord, and that's it. Now there are, and I'm gonna show you something funny, power chords, which is a mean sound. And here's a power chord, and it works on certain instruments. I'll show in a second. Forget about how it looks, the playing of it. It doesn't matter. Again, that's a specific instrument, this instrument. But notice, here's our happy sound, A major. Here's our sad sound, A minor. And this is more of a, and it's missing, ba. It doesn't have a third. It's just 1 and 5. So it doesn't go ba ba, and it doesn't go ba ba. Doesn't have either one. It's just blank. So that blankness, I don't know why the ear kind of puts that in. Hey man, I'm mad. It's like, I don't know. But I want to show you this, which I think is hilarious.
And is it typically always just the 5th
yes.
for the power?
Yes,
okay.
It is just the 5th. Although I'll show you some other chords here when we get to different kinds of chords. So I'll just make this, yeah. Okay, so this is just funny. I just think this is hilarious. You can see the back of my head now. But I just think this is hilarious that if I do that same thing on the piano, it doesn't sound tough at all. It sounds stereotypically Asian or something. Those are the same notes, the same exact notes that we were doing before on the guitar. So it works on the bass. I do not know the reason, but it's noticeable. A piano player has to be kind of I don't know if he has to play those notes as a do 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 do, because it just sounds odd. It's like nobody says yeah man, oh yeah, we're gonna rock tonight. It sounds like I fix and go well. I don't know what.
It doesn't have that twang or grit.
Yeah, something about it, and I really don't know why that is, and but it's true. So the idea back over here on our chart is that give me my chart back. Yeah, the idea on the chart is that these mean chords, and we'll talk about these sounds and the sub sounds in a second. So all of the sounds now to take a step forward from that, and we would have, so we got major chords, minor chords, and I'll say dominant 7 chords. We have sad sounds, happy sounds, and we have motion sounds. Go someplace else. And then also, just as an aside, which I showed in just a second ago, a while ago, but I don't think I said it enough, which is just that a dominant 7, which there are many permutations over here on this list of nines and flat nines and sharp nines and augmented sharp nines and all these things that are more and more tense. But what that dominant 7 chord always wants to do is it always wants to go up a perfect fourth, which we can just, it means a certain exact intervals, but we could look at it as just, and which is fine beginning, which is just say, hey, it wants to go up 4 letter names. So an E7 wants to go up E, F, G, it wants to go up to an A, and it doesn't care if it goes to A major or A minor, and I'm fixing to play that on this guitar over here. And the only reason I'm pointing that out, it's not legally, right? The point is, it's not, hey man, you know, you're going to get in trouble if you don't go to that A minor chord. It just means the sound. So if I play this E7, and you notice this tension. Now look, I'm not going to go where it wants to go. And I want you to notice that your ear agrees. Your ear agrees. Wait a minute. That's not where I was trying to go. Now why? It's not, you know, it's not a law somewhere. E7s have to go to A's. And it's saying it's your ear, my ear. I'm going to go. Again, that was to D. It's like still going like, okay. But it wants to go. Or A major, A minor, it doesn't matter. It went up 4 letter names. So you see a B7, you say, hey, B wants to go B, C, D, E. It wants to go to an E. C7 wants to go C, D, E, F. It wants to go to an F. F7 wants to go F, G, A, B. Now, indeed, it is a B flat, but I'm saying if you just go up 4 letter names, you're in the ballpark. And if it doesn't sound right, you can just slide up or down. The only reason I'm pointing that out to the vast audience is that so up the first step, we would look at that 7. Just again, it's just a capital letter and a 7, and we say, well, okay, that's going to be a bluesy sound. I'm saying everybody to remember that, not just like, hey man, music is cool, but rather dominant 7s want they sound aggressive, you know. And then second is where they're trying to move is exactly 4 letter names up, and that's why if we played a blues, let's play a blues. This is easier to see like this. I'm going to the 4, which is across here, is when I hear this is a G chord. So a G chord wants to go G, A, B, C. It wants to go to the C. So that's why here is blues goes, I'm going to go to the C, but when I go to the C, listen, I go play C7, which doesn't sound like the N because it's a dominant 7, and the ear goes, oh, wait a minute, that chord actually wants to go to an F. Listen, if I just did song, yay! So one of the
from 7 to 7 to 7.
Yes.
As long as you finally end 4 letters.
Yes. And so that's why blues, in one sense, never ends, because you end it, but each chord you get to is a dominant 7 chord. Each one saying go on, go on, go on, go on, as opposed to saying, you know, here's a C7. You know, you were done. None of them sound like that. So anyway, so taking a major, a minor, and a dominant 7 as the 4 kinds of chords, that's fine. Anybody, you can go. I'm talking to the multitude. There's just so many people here. And the leap, the invisible. Okay, so if you take those 3 main kinds of chords, major, minor, and dominant 7. Again, chords that sound sad, chords that sound happy, chords that want to move. And then we could take one step up from that and say, okay, and that would be on this list. The next set of sounds in that list. Oops! Oh, look at that. Wow, that's not good. Let's see if I can get that back. What did it do? Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. what is so I've I was saying go back in a the computer had its little moment, and that is not what I want. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's get this back. Yeah. So I was going back, undoing, and it decided to undo with OBS instead of the document. So anyway, so going to the next level, and I'm going to ignore this part. So I'm saying, so we got major chords, we got minor chords, and I'm saying that we could play all of our music in the whole world with just major chords, major 7 chords, dominant 7 chords, minor chords, and minor 7 chords. And minor 7, which is just adding, again, it's you see it's just minor 7 is just the small m and the number 7, so that would be a lowered 7, a minor triad, and we could talk about how to make those, but at the moment just assume that you can do that. And then the major 7 over here, which is just the major triad, but you see how it's written. It's written with the MA7 or MAJ7, either one, and that again is a major triad with a major 7. So if we looked at how to make that chord, it would be 1 3 5 7, not lowered 7. The minor chord would be 1 lowered 3 5, and the 7 would be lowered. But at the moment, I'm really, and then we have our that's our minor 7 chord, and then our dominant 7 chord, this 7 here, would be 1 3 5, and then a lowered 7. So you see that these two chords, the 7 and the minor 7, both have a lowered 7, which again is a whole step below the note that we're doing. So the reason to see that or to pay attention to that is just that I'm talking about those 3 kinds of chords, is that again you could play every kind of song in the world with that. You could play, here's a major 7 sound just on this guitar. Oh, let's see. Major 7. Now just a major chord. Now I'm gonna just to make it the sound go away. D. Now this time I'm gonna do a minor. Minor 7. Now the dominant 7. And including jazz pieces. And so the jazz piece will say major 9. Usually in the majors and minors, they usually only say, major 9, minor 9, stuff like that. Sometimes they'll say minor 11, sometimes they'll say, but then on the, instead of a dominant 7, instead of A7, they'll frequently say A 7 flat 9, 7 sharp 9, 7 A7 13 sharp 11, and you really can, when I say get away with, it's like, it'd be okay if you just play a 7. And as a continuum for playing songs, and again, what we're trying to do is give everybody a practical way to make things to play instead of just staring at stuff and saying, I don't really know what to do. And so what everybody needs to do when they're playing is they need to have a continuum. We can go up or down this, and this idea that if I know how to play, let's say a major 13, great. But if I don't, back down and play the major 11. If I can't play that, back down and play the major 9. If I can't play that, back down and play the major 7. And if I ultimately can't play that either, just play the triad, major 7, minor 7, or dominant 7. Whatever, and that'll be fine. So the same thing for the 7 chords, same thing for the minor chords. And so I'm saying that we would have a continuum, a way to play the song, and the song will sound fine. So if I'm just trying to think of to think of the songs that the jazz band is doing currently. Like we're doing Watermelon Man, but that's all dominant 7 chords. I don't think anybody knows Nika's Dream, except this Horace Silver knows it. It's a cool song he wrote. And let's just see if there's a song here that we know. Tom has forced us to do Tijuana Taxi, so I'm embarrassed to play that song. So, and let's see, yeah, T-Jam, a better, not a better song. Just an example of. I'm trying to find an old-timey kind of standard. Let's see here. Look at all these songs. Yeah, it's not a good example, but I'll try it. Let's see. Here's Sunny. And the chords here say A minor 7, C7, F major 7. So this is it. Sunny, thank you for my faith. Sunny. That sounds pretty jazzy to me, but those are only 7s. There's nothing bigger than a 7, so that sounded pretty cool to me. And this is originally written by Bobby Heath, but this version here is the one played by Sonny Rollins, the jazz saxist. So anyway, my point is 2 things. One is these simple chords. The second is we need to know those and then know the sound of them. This is just a E7. Now I voiced it in it. It's this chord. This is cooler sounding. Just because I got these big these low notes and high notes, and here's the 7. Here's this part in the middle. So yeah, I picked a cooler way to play it, but it's just a 7. So we need to learn, and anybody can learn what a minor sounds like. What a minor 7. Added that note. I don't have to know the name of that note. It'd be good if I did, but I don't have to. And the same thing, the C and the major 7, C major 7. So in that, and then the dominant 7. Here's the C, here's the 7. And everyone in the sound of my voice needs to learn how that sounds. And writing a song, you think, I'm going to add this. You're playing a song and you're thinking, well, I recall this being a lot more aggressive, than it. I don't remember it being like this. I don't remember, so maybe you should make those 7s. And then we also talked about our 4th kind of chord was power chords. Power chords, aggressive sound. So, and you could add that as a 4th sound if you wanted to. So, and then I wanted to make a little point about, I wanted to play. Go over here to the Pananio, and I'm going to play. It's not going to be, don't want it to be amazing. I just want to play Amazing Grace in the 4 different versions with different chords, and how that, and talking about in the beginning, I was talking about how that these chords change. The chords change the way the song sounds, and so the most vanilla way that I could do this is to Is that volume okay?
Yep.
Okay. So just that, not my voice. We're listening to the chords. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch saying that's vanilla, a bunch of things that I want to do to I want to go, you know, but that's just the most basic without almost any embellishments. Although naturally, not trying to do it, just by arpeggiating it. Makes it a little more interesting. So I'm just saying we go. But my big point about that is that the chords that are being used, yes, it is vanilla, but the point is, what do you think when you hear that? Answer Ruben. When you hear that version like that, what do you think? What do you think about the song?
Sounds gentle.
Sounds gentle, okay. Yeah. To me, it sounds very just vanilla. You know, it's just like there's just nothing. I mean, I'm not talking about intellectually. There's nothing embellished. If I was just listening and not playing it, it'd be like I would think, you know, it almost doesn't sound musical, or it sounds like I went back 150 years ago or something. You know, and people. This is not true, but you know, people like, okay, these guys are out on the prairie and nobody can, you know, nobody could afford a dominant 7 chord.
Oh. It's not as interesting as it could be.
Yes, exactly. And what I'm getting about is that is a language, that is a implication. So if I want a song to be more, for example, more direct and less. Well, let's say if we listen to a song in general by Bruce Springsteen or a country song, we would tend to think, because the chords are simpler, we would say that guy is earnest and sincere. There's not all this frivolous stuff around there. He's just telling the truth, no matter what he's saying. He can say, I lost my dog and I shot my wife, but it's just like, this is a real man, a real guy. And a Bruce Springsteen song, you know, it's like, I just got home and went to the bar and I'm just singing this song. Whereas we never think that about a jazz song. You know, we never think, you know, that's just a regular old guy. So the language, I'm saying, just going this, just like this. Just okay, so here the second version is kind of a normally spiced up, but it's not very spicy. Lazy grace, how sweet the sound that. Okay, now all you heard, what do you think about that version?
Much better.
And so we had it had sevens in it. It had let's see, it had notes that were out of the key. For example, I once was, listen to this sound, lost. So we're talking about, this seminar is about chord colors, you know, that this color and this sound, you know, all of those are colors. That's a major 7. Here's a minor 2. Here's a major 2. This is a G11. And this particular chord has a note that's not in the key of G. And what I'm saying is the ear interprets all that and says, hey, this is a more sophisticated or involved, and says, you know, and I don't think it says at all, this person cares more, but this is a little bit more of an aural, A-U-R-A-L journey. This is out of the key. That note not in the key. And we go, and we walk down. So there's more interest, a little more sophistication. And this is probably a middle level of interest, and I'm just saying things we would add to a song, chords we would add to a song. There's no melody difference. Do you have anything to say to characterize that, Ruben?
Actually, I had a question on that. So is there like a cheat sheet, right? When you're coming up with a song, trying to make something interesting,
Yes.
is there a particular note off of the root that you're playing that would, like if I play the third and that would change it up enough, or is there like a cheat sheet to make things interesting? I guess.
Well, the primary thing is what we were saying a minute ago is that we would take a first level would be to take major chords. Now, again, listen to this major 7 sound. You can't stick this in I can't say, today I bought my truck today. Because here's a major 7. So I'm saying that I could say the dominant 7, I bought my truck today, or I could just do a G major. But those 3 kinds of chords, from the major to the minor, and I'm talking about from major and minor, and then we'd had minor 7, major 7, and dominant 7. Those 3 kinds of chords. Now you may already be doing those, but then not being rude at all, but the point of the seminars is to say, hey, that's not without consequence. It's like these are colors. It's like I just blopped a bunch of purple. This sound, I put a bunch of purple in my painting. Did I mean to? Is that what I want? If that's what I want, awesome. Here's the dominant 7. So we could, and if I, for example, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Yeah, well I once. Well, that sounds bluesy now because I took all the original chords, those very simple chords, I just made them all 7s. And I'm trying to say the chords we use have consequences. It made it meaner, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. And so anyway, major 7, minor 7, dominant 7 as the first tier. Now, I put 2s in a lot of chords. Make the minor. Here's an A minor, and here's an A minor 2. It's because it sounds like, to me it passes it up. Same thing. Here's a G. Here's a G2.
That one note makes a huge difference.
To me, it does. It kind of like it. Whatever. If it's the major full, it makes it more. So if it's the minor sad, it makes it more so. Of course, the minor, both of them, the reason it is because in the minor you can really hear it. You have these 2 notes. Here's the minor. When you add the 2, now you have these 2 notes. They're fighting. They're like, please go to this. Please go to, it's like. And here we can make the minor 7, which is just what we're talking about. So that's a very dark or involved sound. But again, you couldn't sing a song like, this wouldn't work. Hey ho, hey ho, and up she rises. Hey, like an Irish or a pirate song. You couldn't sing that with that complicated sound because it'd be like, this is not. So the pirate song would be, hey ho, and up she rises. Hey, hey ho, and up she. You just want the regular tries. I'm again about the chords are a language. The chords are something we're saying about the song, about the music, about the what is this. So you can take it and sometimes it moves the needle a lot. That we sometimes it moves it just a little bit, and so you could say this song is not pretty enough. Let me just make these major 7s, and then sometimes they'd be that's just what we want, and then sometimes it could be like you burnt the biscuits. It's like now you've overstepped it and it just doesn't fit. So I'm just saying, and that's when you're thinking about I want to learn all these chords, and that you can't use all the chords in certain styles. So you can't in country music you can't use all, and not country, rock, metal, most rock, metal for sure. You can't use all those chords because I'm trying to think of Metallica, something by Metallica, but I'm just saying you're like you can't put a major 7 or a major 9, in those songs, because it's like now you're violating what this song is about by your chord language. So here's a third version of Amazing Grace. Let's see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was, I gotta get the right version. Oh, there it is. Were lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, much nicer. And I guess the side question to that, Mark, is does the same kind of apply when you're doing harmonized vocals or harmonized guitar parts, right? Like if you have something that's kind of vanilla-y, but you're making it interesting by adding those variations with the sevens or twos, for example, as your harmonies.
Uh, I'm not sure what you're asking. So when you do harmonize a melody, you are making a chord. A chord is typically 3 notes, but the 3 notes, the most important one, or not absolutely, but the most common is the root and the third. And so usually when you're harmonizing it, that's what you're playing. And so the fact that it'll sound odd if you go the root and the fifth. What I'm trying to say is you would naturally not do that. You would hear it and be like, when I play the power chords on the piano, it's just like strange, and you wouldn't go like, yeah, I love that. You'd probably go like, and you would gravitate to, oh, now I found the root and the third, and so you've got the guts of the chord. What's the difference between a major and a minor chord? That third. So I'm saying you got the guts of the chord, and you're moving around. So you're playing chords, and then so yes, the same thing is happening with these chords, and this one has more chords that are not in the key. For example, you can hear right here when I go on this end, I go, was found, was blind, here. But that's not in the key. One note is not in, but now, this is in the key. This is not in the key. See, this is not in the key. This is not in the key. This is in the key. And of course, all music is about tension and resolution. All music is about, it's all that. So, and we got to have both things. If we only have the tension, which is what, be right back. Okay, see, delete. Everybody like I was saying about every musician, like, oh yeah, I'll show you. And then if you just want to do tension, you if you do it too much, you lose a perspective. It actually doesn't sound as tough because it was all aggressive and up in your face. It's just how up in my face and aggressive can you get, so you have to have a swing of up and back and up and back, regardless of your starting point. So you'd say something like nursery rhymes, are starting way down here in terms of very relaxed, and then you'd have I don't know, I'm making this up, this is true what I'm saying, but I'm saying, let's say, we all fall down. Anyway, some of them are kind of interesting, or kind of involved, but then we coming up to like, okay, and then like I said, country, a lot of rock songs are just exactly like country. And there's, in one sense, a lot of country is very, very exciting, the solos and stuff, but it's like, it's not harmonically exciting, and there's not like a lot of crazy chords. It's like, man, that guy's really playing fast, and on his typically guitar or piano solo or whatever. And then like, again, the rock band is doing Call Me the Breeze. You know that song? It's by Leonard Skinner. Anyway, the point is it's just a blues. It's got 3 chords, but the solos are utterly killer. And again, I would see that as what we're talking about right now is this is just my, whether it's correct or not. So the interest is this way, chords. You're going through chords, chord, 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 and then those kinds of songs, a lot of rock songs, and a lot of country songs. The interest is this way. It's like he's sitting. He's not really doing a lot of different chord things. The journey is not from chord or key changes, note changes. It's from he's just in the key of G. He's playing all these cool things that makes it excitement, as opposed to you going like, whoa, whoa. Your ears not going, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that. Your ears going like, that was really cool. That was fast. That was cool how he did that. Okay, and here's the last way, and the point is the same exact thinking. Okay, this one time you get back into lead. This is the only time. Okay. So the last way here is supposed to be a little more spacey. And notice that chord right there. Not the kind of chord. Just notice it sounds empty, but it doesn't sound mean like the power chord did. How sweet. Here in the sound. Sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So, because those chords are missing a lot of the things that we're looking for in terms of, one of the things we're looking for in resolution is the third. And we're looking for a sound, and most of those chords are missing a third. And so they, like in the first chord, and I'm trying to, the reason I'm pointing this out, or the deal I'm trying to say is like, this is very mechanistic, very much like, hey, why don't I just take out the third? Why don't I just, another thing we could do is just play things up, five, if you're on a guitar or something, play things up 5 frets or 7 frets, just play part of the chord, and break it up instead of its tighter sound. It just if it's a piano, you can spread your hands out. This literally just, instead of playing this, I still got the piano look. No, I don't. Sorry. So it's the piano. If I'm gonna play a G chord, just doing this, or saying here's my, and I can just play like this, and I can play it. I'll just keep doing this. Even that, listen to that. Even that's still the same notes, not a note different, but it just sounds like I did something special, and you kind of go, oh, if I ended the song, but now I see. You think, oh yeah, he really knows what he's doing. But all I'll be thinking was, I'm just going to spread that out a lot. And instead, so the ear doesn't get its, candy, that's how that is. It's kind of have to piece it together a little bit. And then some of the other sounds that were there, just as the normal suspension, G sus, A sus, D sus, is a 4-1. That is, 4-3. Instead of the normal chord is 1-3-5, and major chord, and so suspended, A suspended, D suspended, is the 1, 2, 3, the fourth note instead of the third note. So you get this 1, 4, 5, and you hear that wants to fall. Instead, I did a sus2, which is instead of the 3, I did the second note of the scale, the same on the guitar, and that still wants to come back up. But if you leave it on there long enough, and I just mean 10 seconds. You start to accept it. Hey, that's it. There's not going to be your... Huh?
Is it kind of like it self-resolves?
Well, I think it's that your ear just says, okay, cool, he's not going to resolve it. you know, and it just what I'm saying is it becomes, instead of if I do it fairly quickly, then it's like, okay, it is a suspension, meaning it wants to resolve, and it's a little bit of tension and it completes itself. But if I leave it there, I think the mood changes to like, okay, now I have an empty sound. And then this next chord is a chordal chord, meaning it's built in fifth. Fourths. There's no third there. You notice it almost sounds spatial or something. And then here, and this that's the A, but it has no third, so it sounds a little empty. That walk, see, that's directing us. That's a D and an E minor. And hear this, a walking bass line that the ear goes, hey, he's going someplace, just like the dominant 7 does. The dominant says, I'm going someplace. And so this sound, it says going someplace. When I get there, what I'm playing is a power chord. I did put it in the major 7. This is, you asked this question about 20 minutes ago. Is that the only thing we do with the power chord or something like that? So here's a power chord, and on the guitar, let's turn around here. It's a very nice. This is 2 nice sounds from the power chord, upgrades from the power chord, and they kind of lose their power. They kind of lose their power in doing it this way, and that would be, we have this normal voicing of the power chord. Which is like this, that is 2 fingers. So I'm saying, and we could, for just kind of the way I started the guitar and stuff, but so I'm usually playing the power chord with these, just these 3 notes, 1 5 1 1 5 1. Now the good outcome of that is I can easily, this is my second one, the higher one, I can easily put in a major 7. Now listen to the sound. I like it. Let me do it this way. I'll go up higher. Sorry. So it's kind of like I'm getting, so I got the major 7, which is the pretty sound, and I got the power chord. So I guess it's a little tough. So I kind of got this little, I don't know what, it's kind of an emo ballad. And then I can do the same thing. This is the major 7, 1/2 step down from the root. So this is happens to be a D, so 2D. So I'm going to do this. So I got a C sharp, 1. Now if I want to make it a 7, here it is, a dominant 7. It's a power chord. There's still no third in here. I can do it like this. Let's start here. Isn't that an interesting sound, you know? So here's the sound. I'm adding in, so here is a A5, A power chord, and a D5. And now instead of leaving that, I'm adding in the lowered 7. And I'm playing 3 strings, the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. And then here, this is the root. This is just a regular power chord. And instead on this 4th string, I'm adding in the dominant 7. So this is a A7, A5-7, a power chord with a 7. It almost sounds minor, but there's no. And if I was doing it with my fingers, I'd do it like that. I know you can't see, and I think I can show you actually. For some reason this camera is not working independently. There you go. You can see it.
Basically, just a whole step down from the octave, right?
Exactly. So I need the. So this is what I'm doing. So this camera's here the whole time. It's just that I can't normally get to it by itself. So I'm saying that's the normal thing I would do. 6, 5, 4, and then I'm adding in this note down a whole set. Da, da, da. So that's now I'm going to finger it this way, but it's just turns the frets 5, 7, 5. So it's kind of like a mix.
Dominant 7?
It's a dominant 7, but doesn't have a third. So the dominant 7 of the same thing would sound like this. Yeah. And here it is this. So it kind of has no resolution, or not much of a resolution. Not of a wherever we move, it's got the I'm not complete of the dominant 7, since it has that note, that lowered flat 7. But then it doesn't have a major third or a minor third to confirm yes. So we could do that a bunch of ways, but you know, now that's a dominant. So that's a straight up, dominant 7. So okay, so let's see here. Okay, now do you, Invisible Delete, or you, Ruben, have any questions? I'll give you 3 minutes for questions. 4 minutes.
I think I exhausted you with the questions there. I think I'm good.
Okay, let's turn this back. Okay, cool. I know that what I got on the YouTube, I got this. I know that what Tom and my wife did is they got the computer on. They're doing something else. So, so Tom and Terry, you both stink. And okay, so I'm gonna be formal now. Okay, so this was the one of the Promethean Studios summer music seminars, and this is the one on chord colors, and the whole point is using chords, but the deal is there's, I don't know, 30. My wife says no, she was here. Okay, cool, you're here, all right. But the point is yes, I just not that anybody agrees with me. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like I think that what most people are doing is that they are shooting for this really, really high stuff, and they're watching videos that are really complicated, and they're like, why can't I do this? And it's like, well, to begin with, I think it's success helps people. I can do this and I can do that. And so the idea that the idea that finding, and I'm really just saying 3 chord types, but besides major, minor, up one step up, is that major 7, minor 7, and dominant 7, and we can use the major chord for a regular song. We use the major 7 for a prettier song. You use the dominant 7 for an aggressive sound. We use the minor for a sad, the minor 7 for a little sadder, darker. And you can play just about every song in the world. And the point is not that that's the end. You stop there. But the point is that, well, gosh, I can play all these things I couldn't play before because I can't even finger this, C7 with the flat 9 and the flat 5. I can't even play it. Okay, well then, point is, well, let's make it simpler until you can play. And then better than all of that is that I would learn and recognize what those sound like. I can hear that and say, that's that sound. I bet that's a dominant 7. Sounds aggressive, sounds bluesy. Let me try making that 7. And then the last thing is that each of the chords, and we played the Amazing Grace 4 different ways, very vanilla, kind of a normal, nothing about it was aggressive, but it was just kind of like, hey, now it sounds a little more musical, kind of what we expected. Then we kind of did a little bit of a black gospel-y, but like point is stepping out of the key a pretty good amount, and that makes it more dramatic. Is that better? No. But if you wanted it more dramatic, there it was. We had to get some notes out of the key. We had to do something to say, whoa, you thought you had this figured out, but you didn't. And then the last one was sort of it's supposed to be kind of not spacey like crazy, spacey like unpredictable, thoughtful, think about this, kind of doesn't do what you think. And then the bottom line of all of it is that whatever chords you use, they have implications. It's not just, I just learned this new chord and I'm going to stick it in every song I know. Because if you do it correctly, there's a whole bunch of things it won't do. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to go. I appreciate all you guys coming, and see you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Okay, now I got to turn off you guys. Okay, here in stream. Here we go.